Beloved brothers and sisters, in the gospel of today, Jesus gives us 3 conditions if we want to be his disciple. First is that you have to deny yourself. Second is that you have to take up your cross. And third is that you have to follow him. Deny yourself, take up your cross, and then follow him. When we consider these 3 conditions of Jesus Christ, actually they were manifested in the lives of the closest apostles or the closest allies to Jesus Christ while he was here on earth. Most of them, if not all of them, that really wanted to follow him and to be true disciples had to deny themselves at some point or at every point. They took up their crosses because they had to undergo different sufferings, both when Jesus was alive and even after the death of Jesus. And that is why most of them eventually ended up as martyrs. And of course, they followed Jesus, both when Jesus was living and when Jesus, after his death and resurrection, they continued the followership of Jesus. They have also given us example to follow if we want to be actually disciples of Jesus. These 3 conditions must not be lacking in our lives. We have to deny ourselves, we have to take up our crosses, and we have to follow Jesus. And as I always tell you, in this race of followership of Jesus Christ, we are not alone. Even when we carry up our daily crosses to follow Jesus, and when we invite Jesus into our cross, he makes our cross easier. It's not as if he promised us that there will not be crosses, that there will not be sufferings, but if we invite him into the situations of our life, that he will actually render us the help and the assistance we need. Today we are celebrating the memorial of Padre Pio. Almost all of us know about Padre Pio because he falls within the sense of the contemporary time. Many of us had to follow the history of his life, especially towards the end of his life, when eventually it was manifested with suffering, with illness, with sickness, and with different kinds of, call it penance, in order to purify this body and then to elevate the soul. And that is why today the church elevates him to be one of the saints of our contemporary time. That whenever we remember him, it will become clear to us that even in our situations now, that we are able to live the life of sainthood. Of course, when I began the Mass, and even as I am preaching now, a lot of you have their eyes on the picture of Father Andy, which is before us. Today, the body comes to lie in state here. We will have the wake, we will have the vigil Mass, and tomorrow we will have the funeral Mass and then the burial. All of us here, we experienced or we witnessed to the kind of life, especially within the last moments of his life, the kind of suffering he passed through, how he carried his cross and followed Jesus, even to the end of his life. So we were almost like living witnesses to this. It is also a lesson to all of us, and it is also a testimony to all of us that it is possible that if we say that we love Jesus, crosses may never lack in our lives, sufferings may never lack in our lives. But what is important is that we deny ourselves, take up these crosses, take up these sufferings, and then follow Jesus Christ consistently and with every amount of perseverance. And when we do this, Jesus is always available to console us, to assist us. And at the end of our lives here on earth, he has promised us the heavenly reward. And that is our hope. And we have to walk relying on his mercy to the end through Christ our Lord.